you want to be successful? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to dominate the day? Then you're going to need big Skip energy.
If you're not on social media, you could very well be missing a tool in your tool belt. So I think my generation will come to expect that from any service provider or a person that they want to work with or trust. And so when I first entered the industry, I attend all these conferences. People are marketing to Gen Z, how to reach Gen Z. And I'm like, the only one that's actually a Gen Zer in the room. And I would hear things and I'm like, that's spot on. That's not so much. And so I started talking about, hey, it's important not only to be on social media, because that's how I'm reaching you now, but also it's really important just in building your brand. And in a market right now, it's really hard to kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel. And social media is a great way to be engaging with more people.
People got to be willing to go down that road to really throw the mirror in front of their face and look inward. Again, there's not a lot of people in sales that really look inward. They want to chase all the outer success. Mm-hmm. And I'm all about the outer success. But if you want to achieve even greater success, you got to look inside. Right? And when you unpack your why, watch what starts to happen.
It's always one more anything, right? If we just live that philosophy, one more phone call to the relationship that we're trying to develop, whether it's a personal relationship or a business relationship, right? One more text message, one more email, one more phone call, one more of anything is going to multiply and compound over time. And everything in our business is compounding. That's what we have to focus on.
I think what I've noticed a trend in the clients that I'm working with as well is that I think a lot of sales professionals want the quicker, easier, like what can AI, what can automation do for me? And the more that salespeople in general start gravitating towards those easier, more efficient ways to communicate, the more relevant those of us who are doing something like a written card that shows up in the mail or a video message or something that's a little longer, when you do something really unique, you actually are standing out in the crowd of all salespeople, not just your direct competitors, but anyone else who might be flooding their inbox or any other social media platforms they're looking at.
How I define sales is not that overly pushy. I'm not going to spam your inbox. One of my mentors told me, once you get the no, you're closer to a yes. Mm-hmm. So get that no so you can start working towards a yes. And I don't know how to explain it. You just do it. I don't want to be overly pushy. I don't want to oversell you. I want to be a true advocate for you. And whether you purchase something from me or not, our friendship, our relationship, professional, personal, whatever, it does not matter to me because I genuinely do care. And I want to be able to help advocate for you and or make sure, you know, your needs are being met. And that comes into that active listening and or that transparency of what I do and do not know. And that's just my sales style.
There's a lot of people that are killing it and crushing it and doing the right things. So when we look at the average loan officer today, what are you seeing amongst them, that the ones that are grinding and crushing? What are those people doing in this market versus the ones that have said, hey, they've thrown in the towel and they want to be done? What are you seeing?
Yeah. So first off, that's a great question, Kayla. And I think that if you've made it this far and you're watching this, hold the course because the market is turning, right? Mm-hmm. I hate to be so optimistic, but after 3 years of interest rates going higher, it's the only time it's ever happened in the history of our country. I'm betting against the fourth. The other thing is the demand for housing. We tasted it this past year is insatiable and people want to buy a home. They just need a little bit of relief and it's coming.
Because I think most people just want good, thorough, unbiased advice that isn't contingent upon them buying a product from the advisor or investing money with the advisor. They just want good, thorough, unbiased advice. And the majority of the industry is just not set up to deliver that. The majority of the industry is set up to I'm happy to help you, but you got to have a bunch of money to give me to invest for you that I can manage and charge you the 1% and so on. Most advisors' ability to work with a client is contingent upon them having a bunch of money to invest and them being willing to give the advisor custody of those assets to manage.
I think in the TPO or the B2B space, it's all about giving ideas, giving content, helping your business partner be better suited to serve the end consumer. And in the retail space, I would be super excited. As bad as this market is, I'd be like super stoked to be in this space because I would differentiate myself as that trusted expert. And I'm so encouraged. Like I'm 55, so I've been at it for quite a while, but I love the next generation leaders in our industry and what they're doing, not just in their communities, but what they're sharing on social. They're showing us all the blueprint, the playbook for future success. So I'm pretty excited about our future with the next generation leaders that we have in this space.
When it comes to the home buyer perspective, there was just a lack of education. I'm sure you see this all the time. The misconception that you have to put 20% down to purchase a home.
Yep.
If you want to buy an investment property, you have to put 20% down. There's all of these misconceptions because there's so much information online and the articles, and then your parents or other people that have purchased over the years that the guidelines have probably changed at this point. So I really wanted to try and help the individuals that were not being served. So that's really what pushed me into recording and putting out there on social media. The Gen Zers that are trying to purchase in the next 1 to 3 years is 68.6 million. And they get almost all of their information off of social media. Primarily, it's going to be YouTube and Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. And so if they're going to be purchasing in the next 1 to 3 years, let's take the time right now to really put yourself out there and become the expert.
I have pages and pages of a policy for a new bank client related to risk on social media. So it's challenging, and it's challenging because things are free and easy, like you say.
Right.
But then things that you as a mortgage professional might do free and easily for a referral source or a potential referral source, like a real estate professional, are going to be deemed to be still valuable to that party, like reposting their listings, liking their posting, sending one of those cool closing pictures that features all of you together as a team. So these things you can do virtually for free and easily while you're promoting yourself, but they still have value to the party. So I think that any institution has to assess their appetite for risk.
What you really find is someone that needs it. What you really find is someone that's going to benefit from it.
That's what it's all about, dude. If they don't actually benefit, then it's really not a win, right?
Exactly. And honestly, it can end up being a huge problem too. If you get to the finish line and you spend 6 months on a sales cycle, and at the end of the day, whether they sign the contract or not, whether they pay you or not, it's still going to be unsuccessful if it's not a good fit. So the oversimplified way I think about it is like, what exactly are they getting out of this?
There's a tendency for them to kind of overlook parts of the country and certain size lenders because there's just kind of a misunderstanding of that dynamic. There's a great middle market of IMBs and banks and whatnot that are underserved, I'd say. So it's just that. It's like, man, if we could help the middle market in particular understand what's really out there in the market, man, I think they account for 60% of originations, something like that, right? But that'd be a big deal. And Gen Z last year was 9% of mortgage originations. And it's the first technology saturated demographic ever the world's ever seen. So they're going to expect us to be pretty tech savvy, man. Like they're not going to tolerate clunky tech or sending in documents, fax machine.
Sales used to be such a belly to belly, shoulder to shoulder environment. Every salesperson would say, put me across the table from somebody and I'm going to crush it. We all believe that. And it's still true. But now we don't get opportunities to get in front of the table if they go online and look us up and we look like we suck. And it is a huge struggle because like, Kayla, when you tell somebody like, oh my gosh, you don't know Coach Kyle, he is awesome. Like we hung out in LA at an event and he's just a salt of the earth kind of guy. He's funny. And then that person goes and looks me up and none of my videos are funny. All of my videos are sells. Now your friend thinks you're stupid because you stood up for me and my online presence didn't validate what was true about me in real life. And we've got to bridge that gap.
One asked me how to get the young professionals up to speed faster because the generation now is going to want to retire at some point. Nobody's going to want to work forever. So the people that are the young professionals now are going to be filling their shoes. And how we get them up to speed faster is by giving them a seat at the table. I have said this many times before, train them and give them a chance to learn the industry, learn the why behind the policy issues that are affecting our industry, which is why advocacy is so important.
Right.
And it's what MBA does is policy and advocacy. I really feel like giving them a seat at the table and bringing them into the meeting so that they can learn about legislative issues or learn about why your company is choosing to go one way versus another. Giving them a chance to learn